So Lila Moitas, where are you in this world?
I'm in Brazil.
You're where?
I'm in Brazil.
Brazil. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Lovely, lovely. And Maharaj, is he still in Ireland?
great question.
Who knows, right? He gets around.
I don't think so, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, there it is.
Ah, Dandavat pranams.
Good morning, obeisances. Dandavat pranams.
Good morning, obeisances. Dandavat pranam. Leela Moy Prabhu is our host today. Oh, I have to remember to speak quietly, so do remind me if I speak loudly, because it's early morning and I'm surrounded by neighbors and devotees. Yes, happily. And Marianne, I'm thinking of you. I was thinking of you and wondering when we'll hear from you, because I know you've been busy and you said you'll be away for a short while. So not that we're missing you in that sense, but remembering you, missing you. And so I hope everything's going well.
Thank you, Maharaj. I'm being challenged, but my sadhana is very, very helpful.
Okay. There is a verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I don't know if anybody here knows that verse, maybe Udaran Prabhu, maybe Priyanana. They may know the Bengali of the verse, but Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says, if we remember Gauranga Mahaprabhu, then difficult things become easy. And if we forget Gauranga, even easy things become difficult. So that's a motive, at least it's a motive for us to try to remember the Lord.
Absolutely.
When things are difficult and when things are easy, all the time we should try to remember Gauranga. Yes, and Rupanuga Prabhu in Thailand, we can tell by the roof, by the...
Oh, I have a special guest.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I hope you have special guests. Back to Lalita
Well,
Devi, let's see. So,
Dandavat.
the devotees, they are in Thailand. So we do look forward back to Lalita. Please don't disappear. Just after the Vandanam, let us ask you, first of all, for some words of transcendental wisdom from that side of the world. They're in Thailand, as you can see. And so that'll give you a few minutes to think, oh, I'm not being put on the spot. I'll think and say something to the devotees. But devotees are gathering. And as the devotees are gathering, let us chant Mini Vandanam. And that means that we'll chant Vandeham, Om Jnana, Namo Mahavaranyaya, and Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. These key verses. There are more, we know, but for practical economy of time. Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuttapada Kamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha, Shri Rupam Sagraratam, Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam, Sadvaitam Savadutam, Parijana Sahitan, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan, Sahagana Lalita, Shri Vishakan Vitangscha. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurataje Namaha. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So devotees are coming together, and I expect you're using a mobile phone in Thailand, but with us there is Gangalila Devidasi of USA, Sevarupa Devidasi South Africa, Rupanuga Prabhu there with you. Okay, Rupanuga Prabhu there with you, Marianne in USA, and Roger in USA also, Udharan Prabhu in Latvia, Dana K in either Philadelphia or Florida, usually Florida, I think at the moment, Dana, and Priyanana in the USSR. Oh no, former USSR, back in the USSR, the Beatles sang, didn't they? Anyway, Priyanana in the USSR, and Narottam Nitai USA, and Ajita Krishna also in USA. And oh, on Facebook, I do have Facebook on, but
Actually, I don't have access to live stream on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say I don't see any live stream on Facebook. Okay, so those who try to connect to Facebook, but maybe watching this later, then our obeisances to you also. And by the way, so I don't forget, Praneshwari Devidasi, she's already in India, and she, to exactly quote her words, okay, first of all, she said, wishing you get amazing questions at Back to Basics class today, and happily offering honor to all the participants on Zoom and on Facebook. All right, so everyone is remembered by Praneshwari Devidasi. All right, so let us not let any good chance slip through our fingers. So let us immediately come to Bhakti Lalita Devidasi, because we never know what duties devotees have. So while we have her, Bhakti Lalita, kindly make us all Krishna conscious. You know our only requirement is to make us all Krishna conscious.
Well, this is really putting me on the spot, Maharaj, and beyond my capacity. I'm sorry, I cannot make everyone Krishna conscious. I have to start with myself. And happy to see you, Maharaj. You're in Ireland now?
I am until tomorrow morning.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm here with Rupanuga Prabhu and Krishna Kanta Didi, who is hopefully on her way down to join us. And Rupanuga Prabhu has been taking care of us for the past month on a little beautiful island called Kopangan. And he accommodated us here, Krishna Kanta and I, and just spoiling us to death. And tomorrow I go back to Chiang Mai, and we'll be visiting USA after 4 years. So traveling is resuming, and all is well in my world. And Krishna Kanta Didi is taking care of her health, doing some good things, healthy exercise, eating, a lot of book work, translation, and audiobooks. So she's very productive here, and she'll stay a little while longer. So that's just some news. And as far as Krishna consciousness is concerned, it's always an aspiration of mine. I always strive for that ideal. And pray for that to descend into my heart, into my mind, and to fully, I always pray to Guru and Krishna, let me be your instrument and use me as you please. And this way, always in this mood of aspiring for devotion, bhakti, Krishna consciousness. And it's always wonderful to have devotee association wherever we go, when we're traveling, when we're supporting our friends. That is my mission here. I came here to support Krishna Kanta Devi in her health, recovery, and surrounded by devotees like Rupa Nuga, Krishna Kanta. And it's been a wonderful month that passed without forgetting Krishna, without forgetting Gurudev and the purpose of our lives. As Srila Sridhar says, judge a person by their ideal. If their ideal is great, the person is great. So at least maybe we're not so perfect in living up to our ideals, but we don't forget it. We always keep our ideals on our head, wherever we go, whatever we do. And Srila Gurudev was so trusting of us. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj was always so faithful in his followers and would say, wherever you go, just never forget Krishna. Always remember Krishna and engage in seva with devotees. And he felt he could trust that would his followers and disciples would always remain fixed wherever they go, whatever they do, and had faith. You go forward and don't be fearful or hesitant, but be firm in your resolve, and as much as possible stay with the devotees. And then we'll be carried along in the devotees. Their association will bring us always in the right direction. And I see that with Rupa Nuga Prabhu. He's just being carried along without very effortlessly, just center this a little bit, effortlessly, just being carried along by the devotees association and doing great things and always helping the devotees and supporting them and doing good for his own spiritual life too at the same time. So that's inspiring to see. He doesn't have to try very hard. It's coming very naturally to him. And yeah, he's been a source of inspiration past month, and so fortunate to have your good disciple, Madhusudan Maharaj, and you can be proud of him for just having the right mood, the right attitude. And as we say, attitude is everything. If you got that, you got everything. So that's, yeah, that's
I like what you
comes to
said
mind.
last night about finite never meet.
Never satisfy each other.
Yeah, can you
Yes.
read that? Yes, I love to hear it. It's marvelous.
Last night we were discussing how only the infinite can satisfy all of our inner hankerings for pleasure, for beauty, for affection, for love, all the things we're trying to find here, and most of the time searching in the wrong places in this material world, looking for love, looking for satisfaction in all the wrong places, and even trying to find it in another finite. Two finites can never fulfill each other. Only the infinite can fulfill our all of our inner hankerings, our aspirations for pleasure, for happiness, for beauty, for charm, for affection. So we give that pursuit up of trying to find the source of everything for us in just another finite, because it will never happen. We forget about it because it's a futile pursuit, trying to find all your satisfaction in another human being, another mortal, finite, living being. And everyone's desperately trying so hard. Oh, maybe another person will work. Throw that one, let's get another one. And these like chain smoking relationships that people experience, they're always frustrated because they're trying to find all their satisfaction from just one other finite. And so I was telling Ruben, we want to give it up in our minds, in our lives, and just focus on our relationship with the infinite, with Krishna. And that's where he's the reservoir of all pleasure, Akila Rasa Murti, the ocean of ecstasy, beauty, charm, sweetness. He's the source of it, and we are part of him. We are part and parcel of him. We are all parts of the infinite organic whole, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, and our duty is to serve for the good of the whole. And that's our place, that's our relationship with the infinite, and that will only be the thing that satisfies us, not in another finite. Not that we disrespect other finites, that's rather the opposite. We have full respect for all of the Lord's creation, all of his devotees and living beings and animation. But we don't try to exploit any of that. We try to see it all as coming from Krishna and meant for him, his pleasure, not for us to consume or exploit. So that was our topic last night, just spontaneously. And Rupanuga wanted me to share that with you. Over to you now.
And we are happy that he did ask that. But back to Lalita, just before you go away, then about this world, we're always seeing that the world is kind of a place of suffering, and we know that the negative side of the world tends to give a bit of a push to give us inspiration to go to a better place. And yesterday here in, I was going to say Italy, because I'm so used to saying, beginning with I is Italy, but here in Ireland, we had several Indian, of Indian origin, devotees here. And we were discussing about how in India, I mean, you and I know that generally the people look to the West and think that in the West is such a good place compared with where we are. And it used to be in the earlier days, we would hear everybody wanting to go to England, to London. And then I saw that the shift was towards, oh, America. Then people, oh, how can I go to America? And in America, they're thinking of California. And they're thinking that's the perfect place. But from the perspective of those who live in the Western world, I think that the island you are on in Thailand is probably considered as the most heavenly place and the most perfect place. So we know about the difficult world, how it gives us a kick to take us home to Krishna consciousness. What about living where the heavenly world is more clear than the hellish world? How to keep Krishna consciousness and how to use that environment to help us on our way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a grateful attitude. We feel this is all the creation of our Lord. It's but a spark of His splendor. It's coming from Him. It's His energy. But at the same time, you cannot escape the material miseries of this world.
We have another guest.
Is it
Krishna
Zoom?
Kanta is joining us.
Hello.
Jai Krishna Kanta Devi Dasi ki Jai. And I think everybody here knows, I didn't introduce Bhakti Lalita, but I'm sure you all know Bhakti Lalita, who was with Gurudev in Navadip for an extensive length of time doing direct service and got his grace, extensive grace from Gurudev. And Krishna Kanta Devi Dasi, also with Gurudev and heavily blessed by Gurudev also. And both of these devotees, they know that they belong to Gurudev. And so does Rupanuga Prabhu, but you all know Rupanuga Prabhu. And he's from Australia, but he's now retired from the regular business life. Mainly, I think, maybe he still does a little bit of business. A businessman is always a businessman, we know that. But retired and found a piece of Svarga Loka on planet Earth. So we have Krishna Kanta Devi Dasi, we've been hearing from Bhakti Lalita. So Lalita is just answering a question on the theme of how to not only stay Krishna conscious, but how to see the Sattva Gun, the like heavenly environment, as a help for us to go to Krishna's land, our devotional service. So Krishna Kanta Devi, you can hear a few words and think a little bit, and I'm sure you've got something to say to us soon too. But back to Lalita.
Yeah, I'll just finish that thought. But yes, everything's a spark of the Lord's splendor. The beauty, everything has its origin in His divine realm. And we are only getting a little finite fraction of that in this world. But it all comes from Him, and we feel so grateful that we can be a part of His creation and serving units. And but at the same time, we'll always get reminders that this is not our home. I remember hearing that the mosquitoes' job is to remind you. They bite you and they're reminding you, this is not your home. So every day we're getting bitten, and every day you'll feel some adhyatmic, adhidaivic misery. You cannot escape that in the material world. Miseries from our own self, adhyatmic, miseries caused by others, adibhatic, and adhidaivic from the environment. Maybe big typhoon, cyclone, hurricane will hit us, and that happens here. And maybe we'll trip and fall on the sidewalk and scrape up our knees, which happened to me last week. And then you can't swim for a little while, and you're a little inconvenienced because you've you're enduring the reactions of your actions and suffering as a result, no matter where you are, even in a very heavenly, beautiful little island paradise. So there's no escape from sufferings in this world, even in the most gorgeous, beautiful of locations. Yet, so grateful when we are with devotees. We are always remembering the grace of Guru and Krishna in our lives, and that we are all part and parcel of Him. And always, wherever we go, we keep that ideal at the forefront as much as possible. And we remind each other. So, end of my thought. I will turn over to Krishna Kanta Devi.
Actually,
Many thanks.
I think I was also thinking along this line, how we are here in paradise, and I'm very grateful to Devashish Prabhu he made me appreciate the chapter where Krishna says like of I am the ocean, I am the amongst the beasts, I'm the lion, all this, you know. And I was just meditating on this because, you know, first of all, how much important is the association of devotees, that they give you the proper vision of what we are reading, what, you know, we're hearing from our gurus, or from the scriptures. But also that chapter now is become, it wasn't my favorite, and now it's become one of my favorite, because whenever you go, you can actually see the divine presence of Krishna and everything. As Lalita was saying, I was just thinking, is a spark of his splendor. And so yes, we are here. We're trying not to enjoy. I brought with me some portable service, so I don't feel guilty for being in paradise. So I brought something to do here on my computer, some audiobook and some translation I'm working on. So I'm not totally like. Yes, I'm recovering my health. I take that as a service also, because also Abadut Maharaj ordered me. It's better a Krishna Kanta alive than a Krishna Kanta death. So anyway, I'm not dying. I mean, everyone is dying, but not right now. So I'm feeling very good. I'm recovering my health. So I'm getting ready to go back to my like battlefield, as Gurudev called, Villa Govinda.
After some time.
After some times, getting slowly ready. Yes. So I don't know if I.
So Krishna Kantadi, just share with everyone what is the secret of using your time, using all your time nicely, because Bhakti Lalita, she did explain that you are being so busy while you're there. And so what's the secret, even in like a very beautiful environment, to using our time nicely? Because everybody has to think about this in their life.
Well, I always remember Gurudev like angry mood when the devotee will just leave the temple to go for, not angry, but upset mood, leave the temple to go somewhere else in the material world, do something else rather than service. And it was like they want, what did he say? Easy life. They want relaxing life or something like.
Peace lover.
Yeah, something on different occasion like that. Very upset. So I don't want to be good to be upset with me. I always try to think some service I can do wherever I go. But not only that, is also because without service, I mean, we can fast from food, but from service every day, at least a little bit we can do every day. That's keep us living, actually, keeping us alive and give us a meaning to live. Otherwise, what for? We are alive. So before meeting Gurudev and the devotees, I was always looking for a meaning to life, a reason to, a place to put my energy, a project, something, something that I could give my life to. And looking around, I couldn't find anything worth it until I met Srila Gurudev and the devotees. So since then, I don't think, so far by the grace of Gurudev, I can't stay without service for too long. I mean, I try every day. He also say, at least every day, try to do a little bit, a little service every day, so that make your day worth it. So I'm remembering how much Gurudev was like giving his energy to us and dedicating his life to his Guru. So it's always a source of inspiration for me, just to remember that. Yes. I don't know if it's a secret, but this is.
Every day.
Well, the quality is a secret also. From devotion, we get devotion. This is the necessity. And one of our Indian aspiring devotees friends here in one of the Indian friends here who's an aspiring devotee in Limerick in Ireland. They said, my grandmother told me, she's Indian, so coming from South India, the land of devotion. And she said, my grandmother told me again and again, when you go to Ireland, you must associate with devotees, because only by being with devotees will you get devotion. And I thought, oh, there's a wise grandmother.
So are you in Ireland now?
Yes, in Limerick, in the west coast at the moment. This is the last full day, and then tomorrow morning going to Budapest for their first anniversary of the installation, of not installation, of the establishing the new ashram. Tanupriya Devidasi made a big sacrifice, but it was always her ambition to get a place in the city rather than where she lived in the countryside. And so that new ashram is next weekend, is coming now, is Saturday, is going to be, as far as I understand, the first anniversary of the ashram. So devotees are coming from different places in Europe, and I'm going for their association by invitation. And then to Vila Govinda ashram.
Yes.
And they've been very kind to keep us posted of their adventures and devotional adventures and devotional activity and devotional birthdays and devotional gatherings. So
Yeah, and I'm looking the new dresses that the devotees are making. They're amazing. The most beautiful. Maybe I'm partial, but I think we have the most beautiful deities in the universe and the most beautiful dresses now being made.
Hare Krishna. Yes, wonderful. And I did give a tip to Munindra Mohan Prabhu that in London, I saw that they're also making the dresses themselves for the deities. And they're using those decorations for the I don't know what you call them, you know, the jewels on threads and the jewels and making threads and things. And it's very similar, as far as I could see with my unprofessional eye, very similar to how they were making in Vila Govinda ashram. But they got those by ordering them on AliExpress, maybe. And they got them.
We'll ask Ishanuga. She's the one.
Yes, okay, you can ask Ishanuga. Yeah, but that may be a tip to make things a little more economical, because in Europe, as you know, the price is super
I know.
high.
Now in fact, I want to go to Bangkok before going back and see if I can find something. Yes.
Right. Wonderful. And what about Rupanuga Prabhu? We're having I was going to say Thailand special, but it's not Thailand. It's a heavenly speck of earth in association of the devotees in a piece of heaven on earth association today. And so Rupanuga Prabhu, some Krishna conscious words from yourself from there. Kindly.
I just love to be in the company of these two devotees who inspire me, even today. What you both said inspire me. And being of service on a daily basis, I think, is a great one too. And looking for the infinite in the finite, which I learned from you last night, has really inspired me, both. And so the company of devotees is definitely a must in Krishna consciousness, I believe. You can read all the books, but it comes better from someone direct, I think.
Right. Okay, Rupa, many thanks, much appreciated. And all your seva with looking after them and making arrangement and inspiring us all by this arrangement to appreciate it with gratitude. And I think Bhakti Lalita has something else to say. I think I saw her.
No, I'm just taking it all in and very happy to be here today. This is back to Bhakti Basics.
It is
the
indeed.
BBB?
BBBC.
Oh,
Did we cover
Yeah.
the right topics?
Sounded
What was
perfect to me, Dr. Lalitadi.
Okay, anything we missed? I think we've been talking about pretty basic things in bhakti.
Beautifully given. I mean,
Okay.
and also Krishna Mohini Didis joined us from USA, and Krishna Mohini Didis joined us from Spain in the meantime. And I know you're on the
Send
phone where you maybe don't see everybody, but Tunga Rasadidi in Norway joined us, and Suresh Krishna who joined us, Radha Sundari in Mayapur.
Oh, okay.
good.
See, we didn't see before anybody. I thought it was just you.
No, we've got quite a gather. Indulekha Devidasi also.
Oh,
Jeevana
wow.
is with
Such
us.
devotees. Okay.
Back to Jim in the UK.
Oh, and Jeevana Didi. Wow. My down heart. So nice to see you. And
All right.
everybody. And everybody. Yes, there are too many to name everyone. Yes.
Beautiful.
So,
So perhaps from one speck of heaven, we can go to what India considers as another speck of heaven, California, and hear from Jeevanadidi on this theme. Because who better to hear from than Jeevana, also a lifelong devotee, a life of valuable experience with the devotees.
I was totally starstruck again today to see Bhakti Lalita and Krishna Kanta. So awesome to see you all there. And of course, our normal illustrious assembly of devotees here, they're just amazing. We do this every week, and it's just amazing to see everybody from all over the world so regularly. I feel like it's like, our team. So it's really nice. And well, yeah, I think kind of like what Bhakti Lalita was saying, even though we're in California, it's supposed to be the best place, but we suffer and struggle like anything here. So don't anybody be too jealous. You're not really missing out, because wherever you go in the material world, you're still going to come across birth, death, disease, and old age, and so many different kinds of struggles. We do have a very beautiful ashram, however, and it's in the hills of Santa Cruz in a place called SoCal, where you can view the ocean. It's very nice. And but at least for myself, I still have the struggle to try and become a servant, a proper servant with a proper serving mood. And that to me is like the hardest thing, and the thing that's most disappointing to my own self, and why I just am so excited to be on this Zoom call with all of you, and especially to see Bhakti Lalita and Krishna Kanta and other super illustrious personalities. And we get to meet every week with Madhusudan Maharaj. It's just like a miracle to me. The one really awesome present from the COVID days is that we started these Zoom calls, and we get so much association through the Zoom calls, which is, as everybody's saying, is so life-giving. And I heard a really good Zoom call the other day. I don't know if Maharaj or somebody knows which verse. There was this really amazing verse. It was talking about like the little fledgling sparrow is trying really hard he's looking at, there's Garuda who's soaring through the skies, doing everything, and the little fledgling sparrow can barely get his little wings up. And there was a really beautiful verse about that. I don't know if anybody knows it. I'll try and dig it up. I did ask a couple of the people, but haven't gotten back from them. But it was just really nice to hear that, even though, sometimes you just feel, even like the Krishna Kanta is so sweet and so humbly saying, just try to do a little something at least every day to keep in a service mood, and hear a little something every day. And that way, Gurudev's so merciful, giving us so much to keep us in Krishna consciousness and in good association. So just was thinking about that. I've got to find that verse for you guys, because you guys will love it. And
I think we may have it here.
do you have there? If Jaydev was on the call, he might know it too, but
It's Srila Gurudev quoting.
uh-huh.
I just double check that is Srila Gurudev. I'm pretty sure it's Srila Gurudev quoting. Lag bali chali jaya sindhu taribare. And this is quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Jashera sindhu na deya kulla. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. This is small. Adhika adhika bare. Says, even the unlimitedly powerful Sri Balaram, so unlimitedly powerful Sri Balaram, Sri Anantadev, tries to cross the ocean of the Lord's glories, that is, attempting to sing all the glories of the Lord, using his thousands of mouths, as Anantadev. But he never reaches the shore. Rather, that ocean expands more and more. That's the quote. And then Srila Gurudev is saying, thus we can see no reason for a fledgling to feel ashamed of his limited capacity. What then is his defect in trying to fly? So that's part of it, but I think you're referring to the introduction to Sermons 1, if I'm not mistaken, where Srila Gurudev is saying in the introduction about the baby bird in the nest. He's looking out and he's seeing Garuda flying over the mountains and lakes and going everywhere, big Garuda flying everywhere. And he's in the nest and he's just growing his feathers, but he's looking at Garuda and wanting to fly like that.
Yes,
that's probably where you were, what you were thinking of, because Gurudev giving a very nice description. And it's another example of it's an example of Srila Gurudev, like trying to express something using examples that we can understand in this world.
That sounds like it, Maharaj. It was a very sweet example and also super encouraging. So that sounds like that verse.
Govinda, Govinda. I'm trying to find it, but
You think it might be Sermons 1? I can do some homework on that.
anyhow,
And also,
yeah, we can do some homework there and try to find. All right. So I've come up with the Garuda Purana and can make anyone into a Garuda. Okay. Hare Krishna.
sorry. Beautiful.
And again, as Bhakti Lalita said about the ideal, somebody of great ideal is a great person. So we can be a Garuda and see, we can be a tiny bird, but we can have the ideal of Garuda. Hare Krishna. And so how does Jivana keep her Krishna consciousness in the Californian Department of Heaven?
Oh. I don't know, my vision is really skewed, so I never really see it too much as heaven here, except for at the temple when there's the devotees, because otherwise I'm always struggling with the work environment and with, this weather and that weather. But now we're having pretty perfect weather. But with the perfect weather comes all the beach traffic, so it's a lot harder to get to the ashram and get home from the ashram. There's always something going on. But by the grace of someone who put so many wonderful audiobooks on my phone, and also Bhakti Lalita, who showed me how to play it in such a way that it can come out through the speakers in the car, I usually can hear things coming and going. So that's super uplifting all the time. Plus, for some reason, somehow these I got those Gornitai deities that Yuda had gotten many, many, many years ago. And so they somehow or other found their way back to me, even though I had completely forgotten about them. So this is a good lesson for us to know, for at least for me to know, even if you totally forget about Krishna, Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, they never forget about you, because those deities, we had those deities so many years ago in the early 80s, and then they went somewhere else. And I completely had no recollection of them or ever thought about them. And then one day, a couple of years ago, they reappeared. And I was so surprised. And I was like, wow, how could I have completely forgotten them? But they never forgot me. So there's always that.
Beautiful. And
That was what was it.
in the meantime, I do have that quote, by the way.
Wow.
Should I read it, or have we covered it about the Garuda? Okay, I'll read it. We are insignificant souls. So this is Srila Gurudev, and it is the foreword of Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, volume. I can't see which volume it is. I'm pretty sure it's volume 1. Okay, so Srila Gurudev saying, so Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai. We are insignificant souls attempting to fly across the infinite sky like fledglings with so much desire, but practically no capacity. Seeing the great, valiant devotees like Garuda effortlessly soaring over forests, mountains, rivers, seas, and oceans, we may realize that we are but neophytes, fledglings of finite capacity. Nevertheless, ought we not feel the desire to fly? Furthermore, who, however great a personality he may be, has ever been or ever will be able to cross the ocean of the boundless glories of the Supreme Lord? Thakur Srila Vrindavan Das, the Vyas of Sri Chaitanya Leela, has openly said, then that verse I read just now. So actually then, this is exactly the part then that I read to you just now, that verse, Lag Bali Chali Jaya, Sindhu Tari Bare. Hare Krishna. And I can actually, just after that quote from before, so thus we can see no reason for a fledgling to feel ashamed of his limited capacity. What then is his defect in trying to fly? And then I just read the next little bit because it's so important for us all. In the present day and age, the entire universe exalts in the vibration of the divine ecstatic wave of the wealth of pure Hari Katamrita, the nectarian tidings of the Supreme Lord that continuously flow from the holy personage of our supremely worshipful Divine Master, Universal Preceptor, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. He is the King of Kings of the Tridandi Sannyasis, and his pious, pure devotees who have had the fortune of imbibing from him their heart of hearts love for Sri Krishna's devotion, carry with reverence the triumphant victory flag of Parang Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is one sentence, by the way, all of it. The supreme victory of the congregational chanting of the holy names as preached by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, personified as Sri Sri Gaura Nityananda. And by the way, this is a translation of Srila Gurudev writing this forward in Bengali. And in Bengali, the sentences can get quite long. And that was all one sentence. But Gurudev glorifying Guru Maharaj, giving every speck of credit to Srila Guru Maharaj for his Hari Katamrita, not only Kata, but Kata Amrita, nectarian Kata. Jivana has brought us on to that nectarian Kata from Srila Gurudev. And for your spoken books, Jivana, soon you'll have some more to add to your collection in Italian. And really we can follow, and they're devotional. Today it's, I mean, not actually today, but until now, We love to hear the Italian Harikata in the morning and hear Madhurananda or Shantimoy, one of the devotees, reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita and reading revealed truth. And because we have some idea of the content, then it's a reminder. Everything is a reminder for us of the message of our masters. So we're all looking forward, Krishna
Yes.
Kankaridi, to these
Wow.
Italian spoken books. And which books are you reading just now? Have to open the microphone somewhere. Yes.
Just now I'm reading Religion of the Heart.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Siddhanta Maharaj. Mhm.
And I read the original source, inner fulfillment, and subjective evolution. Yeah.
Hey, Jivana.
But
Lots
reading
of-
little every day, not too much. But from tomorrow I will read more.
And you'll hear all the sound effects of this part of the island where we're staying. There's big geckos that say, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I usually pause when it starts that.
And the cicadas, you'll hear like all varieties of cicadas making their sounds. And she felt like, oh, it's so noisy, but Madhusudan Maharaj did this in Navadvip. We can hear the cows, we can hear the taxis, and it comforts sound effects.
And really it is so, at least for me, I'm reminded of the places where they are recorded, and we'll be very happy to hear those sounds, by the way. And some of you know, I think Lalita knows too, that one devotee was checking an some audio recordings that I had made, but you know, they need to be checked before they go out. And they told me, where did you record this? It sounds like you're recording it in a zoo. It was the roof of the Prasadam hall in Navadvip, but without the microphone nearby. And it was a mistake. It was actually recording off the machine, which was on the floor. Instead of, usually you have a microphone somewhere near us. So that's the prominent sound. But because of all the nature sound around, the microphone, of course, picks it all up. And so you get the goats out the back, you get the cows and everything. And there are a few which are like that, because day by day I was recording in a zoo, as it were. But it's happy. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to re-record these. But why re-record? It's got the sounds of nature in the background. Wonderful. And back to Lalita tomorrow, going back to Chiang Mai, Madhusudan tomorrow, going from Ireland. And here in Ireland, we are hosted by a group of wonderful devotees. And here is Saumya Shamprabhu, and he's got up early in the morning, probably because I've woken everybody up, because no one reminded me to speak quietly. At the very beginning, I asked, remind me if I start speaking loud. So Saumya Shamprabhu, you, in an exalted gathering of devotees, you've got up early. Can you make a little contribution to the devotees of your experience of how to maintain Krishna consciousness? And Saumya Shamprabhu, he's a manager. He has a responsible duty in the medical world outside. I'm not exactly sure of everything, but a tip from you in your life, how to remember Krishna in every circumstance. Something that you do to help you keep remembering.
From the devotees, or the devotees from the devotees. What I always think of,
Yeah.
what I try to think of is, like Madhusudan Maharaj always advised me from the beginning, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So, particularly during the day, when I know that has happened, I just start thinking then of Krishna, and I think of either a bhajan, or I think of some reading, or think of Govinda Maharaj, or try to find somewhere in my mind to reassociate and reconnect. And sometimes it's even just for a few minutes, just going on to even Facebook, and playing something from Facebook, and that sense of either one of the bhajans from some of the programs going on around the world, or something like that. So it's always trying to find during the day anyway, something that I can just link into. And that's like, that'll be during work. And then after work, then I always just try to, again, give some time and associate with devotees and find a way to associate with devotees, or a way how to serve the devotees. So even if it's not particularly around the center itself, but it's to find something to do that's related to Krishna consciousness that can connect me to that, knowing that it's not for me that I'm doing it, to serve and to try to remember Krishna, remember teachings of Govinda Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, and that, as well as, you know, a little bit of reading where I can. But and always remembering association of devotees and devotees that inspire us, that we've met in different parts of traveling around Europe and other parts of India and Italy and other places. So remembering other people's affection towards us, and yeah, just trying to stay in that, trying to stay in that feeling. And that's it. That's my contribution. Jai Gurudev.
Jai. Beautiful. And here in Limerick, then the devotees, they are going on steadily. And as Krishna Kanta is saying, something every day, but with their responsible devotional life, then also doing responsible devotional service day by day. And by that, they've developed from nothing, practically, from like a ruined house that they purchased. They've developed a center, an active center, which has a morning program and an evening program, and is there for devotees to come to. And now they've already put in planning permission to expand it. So just how long you've had that house now? 3 years?
Well,
2 years.
2 years in September.
2 years in September. And so bit by bit, every day doing something, and then changing from a damaged house to now completely presentable building, and then expanding. So we can also get inspiration by seeing the savor and the mood of the devotees. It only takes one devotee, and from there so many things can come. It is a fact. And about Krishna Kanta is saying, like, do a little bit, little bit, little bit. But we have the experience that every day we do a little bit, it does add up. And, you know, tangibly we can see, we've read the whole of Chaitanya Charitamrita, like repeatedly, the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, and like this. But it's not, oh, it's a giant book, we're going to sit for hours every day. It's 15 or 20 minutes each morning of two different books, 15 or 20 minutes each morning. And in the evening, similar, 15 or 20 minutes of two books, or one book in the evening. And so even small things that are apparently small, they do build up. And we can say tangibly, we can say, oh, by doing that, we read 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. We read, is it 12,000? I'm not sure, approximately, of Chaitanya Charitamrita. But less tangibly, but substantially, how can we say substantially, subtly, in our devotional life, we do, I mean, devotional life in other aspects of chanting the japa and offering our food, honoring prasadam, and remembrance, the 9 processes of devotional service. Then substantially, tangibly, also, bit by bit, then we can understand that we are on a journey. We're heading home, and we're coming out of the dirt of the world, and really looking and observing outside, quite aloof from so many things that are going on, and just saying, okay, that's the world outside. So we shouldn't ever like give up and think, oh, I'm not getting Krishna prema, my hair's not standing on end, I'm not getting horripilation, tears are not flowing from my eyes, all the beautiful ecstatic symptoms which we see again and again when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita. But the journey is continuing happily. So this idea that always we should try to do bit by bit something every day manifests by our reading, by the appearance of the ashrams, the development of the ashrams, but you can say most importantly, it is developing our actual wakefulness for Krishna consciousness, and hunger and desire for Krishna consciousness. And this is our necessity to keep on going, and in going on to adjust to the environment. And usually the challenge is to adjust to an unfavorable environment. But today we've been hearing from devotees who are what we can consider is in a less suffering or a non-suffering environment of the islands of Thailand and California, two places which are considered as really very sweet. And I can add to that something about Limerick on a mundane level, if you like, but Bhakti Lalita can relate to this, that Limerick in a way reminds me of Sukhumi or Sukhum in Abkhazia. That when I went, and Bhakti Lalita, before I ever went to Abkhazia, which everyone's saying, where's Abkhazia? It's a region disputed by, as you know, an autonomous region or owned by Georgia, but it is in that part of the world on the east side of the Black Sea. But she said, but Bhakti Lalita said that Abkhazia is like Vrindavan, you know, reminds us of Vrindavan, that there are cows walking everywhere and there's, you know, very little traffic, you know, motor cars rule the world, right? And when I first went to Sukhum, it really struck me that why do they have traffic lights here? There are so few cars and that the traffic lights, they just seem out of place. And so here in Limerick on Western Ireland, in the west of Ireland, it does remind me a little of Sukhum, maybe not with the cows walking in the street, but with the lack of traffic and how peaceful it is as a town. And anyway, this kind of a nature. So those of you who live in hectic places, not those of you sitting on an island in the whatever the sea is off the coast of Thailand, but those of you who may be living in hectic places, then you know, it's a thought that there are towns in the world which are pretty mellow, and Limerick is one of them. Why do they have traffic lights in Limerick? And we agreed, okay, maybe at the school time, maybe at one time or another, just, you know, to keep some sense, but otherwise they could. I actually, whether I said to you or to Vijay Nandpur, I said the traffic light salesman did a good job in Limerick. Hare Krishna. And Indulekha Devidas is with us also in that hectic city of Austin, Texas. I'm sure it's not very hectic. She's out in the countryside. Oh, where are you? In Austin or are you in Salt Lake City?
I am actually in Houston.
Oh, in Houston. Oh, okay. You do travel around a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
But you are on planet Earth facing whatever it is, the duties. So many duties come to her in many ways. And by the way, we were very happy on, we should give a link to the mini movie, 15 minutes maybe movie she made of here, Limerick. She was here last time when Devashish Prabhu did the fire yagya of the devotees. So remind me, then we should find the link on YouTube and share that link with everyone so that you can see the video very professionally that Indulekha made, sort of documenting the fire yagya. And it's very sweet, except I'm also in it. If you take me out, then you've got yourself a sweet video of what took place. All right, dear devotees, and yes, please excuse those who tried to come in on Facebook that this time, and I think for the next 2 or 3 or 4, I'm not sure how long Praneshwari Devirasi is going to be in India for. She's gone for Rath Yatra, and she is in touch. As I say, she already arrived there. And for those who didn't hear her message at the very beginning, she did send a message saying, happily offering honor to all the participants on Zoom and on Facebook. So she's remembering you all also, and so many others do remember you all. And There are like secret viewers of Facebook of the back to basics. So to those who I know are secret viewers, and to those who I don't know are secret viewers also, to everyone who's watching through on Facebook, we do appreciate that we're in the company of so many devotees, live, and live in the sense of seeing the recording too. Jai Shila Gurudev Om Vishnupat Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupat Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rock of Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai to all of our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. And to all the present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. And to our special speakers today, we have Bhakti Lalita Devidasi, Krishna Kanta Devidasi, Rupanuga Prabhu, Jivana Devidasi, and also Saumya Sham Prabhu speaking today. But we have special speakers reminding us about how to keep our Krishna consciousness and go forward. And by your example, then we are all getting, your plural example, then we are all getting energy to continue also in devotional service. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So have a successful week in Seva, and we'll meet again soon, and safe travels to those who are traveling, and safe not travels to those who are living a safe life in Krishna. The only way to be safe, be Krishna conscious, whether you're sitting in your house and thinking everything's very safe, or whether you're driving a sports car and having to rely on Krishna to some degree. Whatever you're doing, there's danger at every step. Remember Krishna, we are on a journey. Our journey is to Goloka Vrindavan. With gratitude, with appreciation. Hare Krishna. Dandavata Jita Krishna. And to each of you one by one. Hare Krishna. Amra.
Thank you, everyone. So much nourishment, so much beautiful. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Haribo.
Dandavats.
Haribo, Dandabat.
Thank you.